this video, I will reveal Mark Spelman's Golden Buzzer winning act on Britain's Got Talent. Here's what happened. In his act, he performed 4 tricks, each involving a different choice. The first involved David selecting a random colored crayon from a box containing various options. The second required Alicia to freely select any playing card with different animals on it. While these selections were being made, Amanda continued to mix up a Rubik's Cube, which was then taken back from her and placed inside a purple box. Finally, Alicia was asked to call out stop at any moment as the book was flipped through. He then had Simon position the permanent marker, pointing upward, and circle any part of the page. He was then instructed to remember whatever word he had freely circled. The act concluded with a prediction played on the big screen showing his daughter seemingly knowing everything beforehand by giving hints through her random videos. So how did his daughter know everything ahead of time? Here is the secret. In the first trick, he had David select one out of several different colored crayons that he openly showed in the beginning. But after closing the box and shaking it, he had to make a selection without looking. Watch this moment very carefully. Although he shows the box, which apparently contains different colored crayons, he closes it and then shakes it to mix up the order. But this was only an excuse to flip the box, as the box actually contained 2 sections, one with random colors, the other containing all reds. This is why he had David pick out the red crayon from the red section without looking. In the next trick, he showed all the cards to be different. However, after turning the cards over, he had her touch any card, but did not allow her to pull it straight out. Instead, he picked it up from the deck himself and placed it in her hand. The reason he did this is because, although this looks like a normal deck of cards, it is in fact specially prepared, such that each card is a pair. If you were to take one of those cards from the deck, you'd notice that the back of each card is attached to the penguin card with roughing spray. The use of the rough and smooth concept, which Mark utilized in this trick, is also commonly used in invisible decks, where the cards are paired back to back and only split apart when you loosen the grip between the cards. If Mark had Alicia pull the card out of the deck herself, she would have ended up pulling the pair straight out and found 2 cards in her hand. So he had to carefully handle the part of handing the card to her. The third trick, involving the Rubik's Cube, uses an ordinary cube. Amanda really did form a random pattern on the Rubik's Cube. But if it isn't obvious by now, when he placed the Rubik's Cube inside the purple box, the box contained a shell that covered up the original pattern Amanda made. When she was asked to remove the purple box, the original pattern was no longer visible. If you think about it, why place the Rubik's Cube inside the purple box in the first place, only to remove it a few seconds later? Another clever move by the show's editors can be observed here. The side of the cube that remained unchanged due to the 4-sided shell facing the stage was not shown. Instead, they used a top-angle view from the judge's perspective to conceal any gaps that might be visible between the real mixed-up cube and the shell placed on top. Finally, the 4th trick, with the words selected from the book. When he asked Alicia to close her eyes and call out stop at any moment, she never really had a free choice. He simply flipped to the page he always intended to flip to. This is also known as the timing force, after which he immediately turned the book face down. The magician aligns their actions with the expected response to achieve the predetermined outcome seamlessly. The reason he stopped on a specific page is that there was already a word circled on that page. Now, you may be wondering, when he had Simon circle a word, wouldn't there be 2 words circled? The trick is that Simon didn't circle anything because the marker he was holding had a dry tip. He on purpose positioned the book exactly where he wanted to, above the tip, to give the illusion that Simon freely circled that word at that exact position on the page. Behind this mask, only the truth remains till we meet again.